1980, RJR Nabisco. By close of business November 29, 1988, RJR Nabisco CEO Ross Johnson and Shearson CEO Peter Cohen appear to be defeated by Henry Kravis in their bid to buy out RJR Nabisco. The next morning, Cohen forces his way back into the boardroom by going on the tape with a higher bid. Because the bid is publicly announced, the RJR Nabisco board has no choice but to examine the offer.
When the management group injects itself into the process, again, at not the 11th hour, but the 13th hour, the board just wants them to go away. But the fact is, once the bid is on the tape, the board is suddenly saying, well, we have 106. We want 106. But hold on, they've just told the world they're bidding 108. Now, there's a recipe for a big, big lawsuit if they don't at least entertain that 108.
Only minutes after Cohen's offer appears on the tape, the special committee informs KKR that they need more time to review the offer. Kravis calmly responds with an ultimatum. The board has 1 hour to accept his offer, or KKR will walk out on the deal.
It's an interesting tactic because the other side doesn't know for sure it's a bluff. It sounds and feels like one, but it may not be.
Kravis understood that he had leverage over the board, that he could threaten to walk away. And if he walked away, the board would have no choice, of course, to give the company to Ross Johnson.
They couldn't afford to run that risk.
Kravis will wait only if the board agrees to pay a token amount for his precious time.
The board basically looked at this and said, $45 million for a couple of hours? Yeah, we can do that.
At 2 p.m., the board announces that the two sides can submit one last bid. Scrambling for more money, Peter Cohen turns to Ross Johnson and asks if he's willing to take a cut in his management compensation package.
By the way, Ross, would you like to take the management share down to 2%?
Ross, in a way, was the captured king here. The king who had been shut up in the tower and was essentially, you know, from a half mile up, was watching the barbarians fight on the field.
I'm just watching it. I am sitting totally bemused.
The final bid delivered by Shearson's Peter Cohen for Ross Johnson and his management group, $112, $25.76 billion. Kravis's team, 109, $25.07 billion.
We had the highest bid. We had the higher price.
We thought that was the end of it.
November 30th. At 9 p.m., Charles E. Uglyl, the chairman of the RJR Nabisco Special Committee, delivers the verdict.
I remember, and Charlie said, we were out. It was done. And there was a great sense of disappointment that fell over the entire group.
We're informed later that we were not picked.
In the end, the board was told the bids are almost identical, but the reality is pick them. And everybody said Kravis, Kravis, Kravis.
Now, there are many of us who to this day are still trying to figure out how 109 is more than 112, but I guess, you know, as I said to somebody at the time, this is probably that new math, which I didn't learn as a kid.
42 days, dozens of careers, $25 billion. The largest corporate transaction in American history was finally over.
That was a great moment. Everybody was feeling very, very good.
One of KKR's first orders of business, replacing CEO Ross Johnson, who walks off with a $53 million golden parachute.
I said, thank God I'm not going to have to run that thing.
In the fallout from the deal, Peter Cohen loses his job at Shearson Lehman Hutton.
You know, I was kind of wasted, you know, mentally.
For 5 years, Henry Kravis runs RJR Nabisco, but is soon buffeted by the collapse of the bond market and escalating tobacco litigation. In 1994, KKR abandons the company in a stock swap with Borden. In 1999, RJR Nabisco is split up. RJR's international division is sold to a Japanese tobacco company. And in 2000, Nabisco itself is purchased by Kraft Foods.
Of course, the ultimate irony that no one realized is this was the deal that killed the Golden Goose. And essentially, everyone realized that to attempt an LBO after RJR, I mean, you were shooting yourself in the head.
Ross Johnson's and Peter Cohen's defeat at the hands of Henry Kravis and KKR reveal 3 vital insights into deal-making strategy. First, always fear a powerful and entrenched opponent.
We absolutely did not need KKR.
Cohen pretty much wasn't scared of anybody. He should have been very scared of Henry Kravis.
Secondly, when Johnson and Cohen's team do go head-to-head with Henry Kravis, bad press alienates the board of directors, illustrating another business rule: perception is everything.
We saw the cover of Time magazine. We said, we're dead.
The Time magazine cover did have the effect of essentially making Ross Johnson the poster boy for greed.
Lastly, Johnson and Cohen's team believe they have defeated Kravis after outbidding KKR on 2 separate occasions, but fail to anticipate a third lesson: there are no rules in business.
It's whatever it takes to get the deal. Whatever it takes. And that's what happens.
There are no rules in a knife fight.
When the smoke finally clears in the titanic battle for RJR Nabisco, most of its combatants, both winners and losers, feel privileged to have been part of one of the biggest deals in history.
It was enormous fun. I would do it all over again in a nanosecond.
It was the happiest day of my life.
The buyout battle over RJR Nabisco was documented in the book Barbarians at the Gate, which later inspired a TV movie. The movie smoothed over some of Ross Johnson's rough edges in order to make him a more likable character and portrayed Henry Kravis as the heavy. At least one Wall Street insider observed that if $25 billion couldn't buy Kravis favorable treatment, then nothing could. For the History Channel, I'm Roger Mudd. Thanks for watching.
How do you convince the Pentagon to buy your new M16? First, invite the head brass to a barbecue. Second, order lots of watermelons. Third, let them shoot the heck out of them. From the AK-47 to the Uzi, assault rifles are not always an easy sell. Military firepower. Tonight at 8 on the History Channel.
Craig sent me an email asking about the secret weapon of the ancient Romans.
This sharp pointing tip here and this long, thin shaft would allow it to penetrate very deeply through an opponent's shield.
It's now time for Hermias Maximus.
Mail call. Tomorrow night at 8 on the History Channel.
I know just what you need, maggot.